Hey, so right now we're going to go over remote analysis number two. And this is the third thing that you're doing during your sub day on March 1st. So when we're looking at this analysis, we're going to be watching videos the whole time, and you're going to be using those videos to kind of guide you to doing these answers. The expectation of this is that you are completing it and that you're paying attention to this video and you're following and you're doing it correctly based on what this video is telling you to do. So the first artwork that we're going to talk about is this painting called by Jacob Lawrence called Migration Series Panel Number 57. It's from 1941, so 80 years ago, long time ago. It's a series of paintings by Jacob Lawrence. It's about the migration of Black people from the South to the North that happened in the early 20th century. What you see in this picture is something that's 80 years old. We probably haven't done in America for like 100 years. So when you're answering this question, what do you think is happening in this picture and what do you see that supports that? You're going to have to really tap into prior knowledge or kind of think about movies you've seen. What do you think this person is doing? Do you see this person? They have a stick. That stick is going into something. What is happening, right? But when you're doing this part of analysis, you need to make sure that you're saying, what do you see that's happening? What do you think is happening? What do you see that supports that? What you're doing is you're making a claim and finding evidence to support that claim. So if your claim is that she's making soup, what evidence do you have to support that? Is it the you think the orange thing is carrots, you think the dark green thing is kale, the light green thing is broccoli, and the yellow stuff is cheese? Do you think that she's making a cheese soup? Like, find evidence that supports what you think is happening. I don't know is not an answer. Come up with something. Notice what's behind this person. Why are they looking down? What's in their hand? Pay attention to this. The whole point of this is to get you thinking about a claim and an evidence to support it, because it'll then help you to be able to make a claim based on the elements of art, which is really what the standard that we're working towards is asking you to do. It's asking you to make a claim based on the elements of art. So we're going to look at this painting. We're going to do these first two questions. What do you think is happening in this picture? What do you see that supports that? Then the question comes up, based on what you see in this painting and heard in this video you're listening to right now, how do you describe the shapes in this artwork? And then we have organic, geometric, static, dynamic, heavy, or light. So when we're looking at this, we should have our elements of art shape worksheet open, and we should know what those definitions mean. You took a quiz earlier about these. You should have that document open so that you can find this. Now, when I'm looking at this artwork and I'm wondering, are these mainly, when we talk about the shapes and the colors, what mainly do we see? Because we see both in this picture. We see geometric shapes in these rectangles up here. We see a geometric shape in the trapezoid figure here. But then we see organic shapes down here. So when we're trying to figure out what type of shapes are in here, we need to say which ones do we mainly see. Because an artist is trying to talk to you, but they're also trying to make a painting that's interesting. If it was just geometric shapes, it might not be that interesting. So there's both in here, but which one do we see most? Because the artist is talking to you with those shapes. So they're using more of one shape in order to get a message across. So when we're looking at this, we're going to see that only about the bottom third is organic shapes. Everything above that is organic. I'm sorry, I just said that backwards. The bottom third of this is organic shapes. The top third of this is geometric shapes. So we know that this is geometric shape. So we can come down here and click geometric. Sorry, let me fix this. I can't. So we know that we click geometric shapes. Um, so we know it's either organic or geometric, then it has to be either static or dynamic. Remember, static are shapes that are vertical or horizontal. Look at my hands. Vertical, horizontal, and dynamic shapes are shapes that are at an angle. So when we're looking at this, most of these shapes are static. Most of these shapes are horizontal or vertical. So we would know that this is static shape. So we have geometric, we have static. So now we need to figure out, do we have heavy or light? Heavy shapes are dark and big. Light shapes are light colored and small. So when we look at this image, There's really only a couple light colored things in here. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then this person here. Most of these colors, I'm sorry, most of these colors are dark and big. Look how big this black area is. Look how big this black area is, and this one. And look how big that dark green is. So I would say that most of these shapes are heavy. So we have heavy shapes, we have geometric shapes, we have static shapes. So you would come in here and you would mark these as geometric, static, and heavy. And then the next question is, based on what you see in the painting and heard in the video, how would you describe the colors in this artwork? Okay, so we're looking at this artwork and we're wondering, is it warm or cool colors? Well, it's both, because we have warm colors in the pinkish red and the orangish reddish pinkish color and the yellow, and then cool colors in the green. So it's not warm or cool. So then we're wondering, is it analogous or complementary? Well, analogous are colors that are next to each other, and yellow and green are near each other. And if you can see this as an orange, I can see analogous. But if you see this as more of a red, maybe it's complementary. Either one is fine. I think that the artist is choosing bold or faded colors to speak to us, and I would say that these are bold colors. There's a lot, even these kind of more pastel looking colors are a lot of color. They're not very faded. There's nothing in this to me that would look very faded. Everything in this, even this white, is a bold white. It's a lot of white color, right? So this tells us that this is a um, bold color painting, and you can choose if it's analogous or complementary. Either one. There's not when I don't try to have this be right or wrong answers, because a lot of times it's kind of how you see it, how you kind of understand these definitions, and that your understanding of these definitions really affects your understanding of the meaning of the artwork. So you can choose. I'm just going to put bold, but you guys can choose if it's definitely not warm colors. It's definitely not cool colors because it has both. So you can't choose both of those because that wouldn't work because warm and cool are opposites. You can't choose analogous and complementary. You can't have both, but you can choose one or the other. You can't have both bold and faded colors, but you can have one or the other. It's whatever you have most of. So if you wanted to say this is cool because you mainly have cool colors, those greens, I would accept that. That would be fine. If you want to say this is analogous because you see it as kind of an orange, a yellow, and a green, I'd accept that. But if you see this as more of a red and you want to say it's complementary because it's mainly red and green, I'll accept that as well. But the one that we know that it is bold colors. So I'd come down here and I'd click on bold colors. So then the next question is, based on the color and shape words you chose above, what do you think the mood or meaning of this artwork is? So we chose bold, we chose heavy, we chose static, we chose geometric. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the color document. And I'm going to go to bold colors, and I'm going to see that the moods and meanings are exciting and inspiring, harsh and anxious, confidence and pride. If you don't know what some of these words mean, there's a way to find out. You click on them, you highlight the word, you right click on it, and then it says define anxious. So again, if you don't know what a word means, you can highlight that word confidence and then right click and it'll say define confidence. So it can tell you what these words mean if you don't know what they mean. So exciting, inspiring, harsh and anxious, confidence and pride. So then we're going to go to the shape words. And we said geometric. So it's innocent and playful. Does that go with bold in any way? Not really, because innocence, and there's nothing in here that says anything about being kind of innocent or playful or anything like that. It says violent or dangerous. Does that go with this? Maybe kind of harsh and anxious is a little bit about violence and danger, because harsh can be kind of like mean and aggressive, and anxious can have be afraid of something, which is danger brings up fear. So maybe this painting has something to do with violence or danger, or power and strength. Confidence and pride is power and strength kind of as well, right? Like if you have strength and power, you're going to have some pride and some confidence in you. So maybe this is so we have kind of an idea here that it might be having something to do with like confidence and pride or violence and danger. So then let's go look at static shapes. Static shapes. Oh, here's the word anxious again, but here's the word power and confidence again. So we have power and strength, power and confidence, and then in here we have confidence and pride. Maybe this idea of power and confidence is where we should be going because it's being repeated a lot in all the words, all the types of shapes and color that are in this. Because what we're doing is we're trying to figure out what the artist is telling us based on the elements of art that they used. So far we're seeing this kind of confidence and power show up a lot. Let's look one more time at heavy strength and power. This is coming up a lot. Strength and power, power and confidence, confidence and pride. It seems like in here, this seems to have something to do with power and strength, power, confidence, pride, because they kind of seem to be repeating throughout all the different um, elements of art that are in this picture. So what you would do is you would come down here and you type in that you think that has to do with pride or confidence or power. And then what else do you see in the artwork that supports that? So when you're looking at this artwork, what do you see that makes her feel like she's full of confidence, full of pride, full of power? I would like you to kind of think about this for a minute. So I'm getting kind of quiet. And if you come up with something, go put it down there. You're not wrong. What other evidence do you see in this, other than the colors and the shapes, that make this feel like somebody should be proud or powerful or confident? One thing I see is the fact that this picker person is very stable because they're much bigger at the bottom than the top. So the artist wanted to make this person feel like they have a lot of power and strength because they made them look very stable and strong. Another thing is that it looks like they're stirring something that's bigger than them, and they're able to have this power and the strength and to stir this. It also looks like they've been doing their job all day because they have stuff behind them that shows that they've been kind of doing their job all day. So there's some pride in that. So when we're doing analysis, what we're doing is first just kind of saying, what do we see happening in this picture? What do we see supports that? And then you're going to look at that and determine what type of shapes you have, what type of colors you have, and then you're going to come back to these documents and try to figure out by looking at like all the different things that you said are in there, what words seem to be repeating, what seems to be the theme that seems to be repeating in all of these words. And we noticed that it had to do with like confidence and pride, power and strength, that it had to do with power and confidence. I seem to have to do something with confidence and power and strength seem to be repeating throughout. So we know that Jacob Lawrence wanted us to feel that when we looked at this painting. That was kind of his intention, what he meant for you to feel. So this is how you do this painting. I'm going to then ask that you do this painting on your own based on kind of what we did above. Good luck. I know you can do this. If you need support, ask the sub and they may be able to help you.